small window here. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're right. Unless it's a touchscreen. No.
Yeah, so what you're seeing is
just,
what's actually going out to the internet.
Wonderful.
So if you want to talk about anything, the teams, the rosters,
cool.
Get up.
Awesome.
I don't tend to do
No, that makes sense. Yep. We can make it work. Good morning, ladies and gentle thems. Fantastic to see you here back at another bit of roller derby as we work on the levels here. This morning we have Team Regional Victoria up against South Sea. Should be an excellent lineup and matchup. As my name is quick microphone change. There we go. That's a little bit better. And my name is Hypodermic, they, them pronouns, and I'll be your announcer for today. Nice echoey venue as per usual. Teams are lined up. Officials are having a little powwow in the centre. Shout out to Corey, our HR for today. And thank you to everyone who has braved the cold and the way too early morning to come and watch some derby today. This is round 5 of Statewide Stampede. We had round 4 here yesterday, hosted by East Vic. And today we have the wonderful Kingston City Rollers making sure we have an excellent time. They're manning the front desk, and I'm assuming you're running a raffle. I can see quite a few raffle prizes over there. Get yourself some tickets. I will keep plugging those throughout. Lining up for TRV is 444 Pins and Needles coming up against 030 Bombshell for South Sea. And we are off. Jam 1, period 1. Both jammers hitting the tripods hard and making little progress against a very determined defence. And it's lead to TRV, sneaking out the front there. Pins and Needles with a good, almost a lap on Bombshell, who is coming through for their initial. And calls it defensively. Well done. Tidy, 4 points for TRV, 0 points for South Sea. And a nice little first jam. Lining up now, we have 111, that is Spider Monkey. I'm assuming it's the 8-legged kind of Spider Monkey. 404 Fleabag lining up for South Sea. Off for Jam 2, Spider Monkey hitting the back of the pack there, doing some dancing. Meanwhile, Fleabag working their way through. A very squishy little pack there. Everybody getting real friendly. Fleabag finding something down the outside there. That's nods from the OPR. They've made it. Lead to South Sea. Not that far behind though comes Spider Monkey on their initial. About half a lap behind. And a quick call by Fleabag to give them 3 points, denying TRV any points there. Almost equalising the numbers, but not quite. 999 M-Dog lining up for South Sea. 333, who is not on my roster. Oh no, Temper Tantrum. Of course I know Temper Tantrum. What am I doing? My brain is not engaged yet. Off we go again for Jam 3. Temper finding a little spot down the inside there, using that inside line, but not far behind them. Here comes M-Dog, scooting around the track about as quickly as you can. It's looking a little slippery out there. Temper calling it before they can snag any points, but also denying South Sea any as well. Good little defensive jam there. 8-3, Vicious Citrus. I'm assuming that's right in your eye. Up against 4-4-4, Pins and Needles again. South Sea one blocker down, so a small blocker advantage to TRV, but not for long, as both jammers get stuck up against some very determined defence. Both jammers looking for those lines and just getting shut down again and again. It's very hard work. Building up quite the sweat at this early juncture. Sweat, as we know, is the breakfast of champions. So good work out there. "45 seconds in and we still haven't got a lead jammer. Fantastic defence from both teams. Sneaking through though, Pins and Needles has found a way around the outside on turn 1. Looks like a star pass from South Sea trying to make their way through. Monk now in possession of the star, still trying to make their way. Stuck out the front of the pack as Pins and Needles engages the back for TRV. And a very stationary pack now, stuck on the back turn, back straight. Still pushing. Some great offense there from 264, Scooby. Monk still pushing at the front, with Pins and Needles still pushing at the back, despite offense from both teams. Excellent, as I've said, defense from both teams here. And that is a very long jam. Unfortunately, no initial for South Sea. And all that work for 4 points for TRV. Excellently fought by jammers and blockers alike. All 8 legs of that spider monkey lining up for TRV. We've got him. That's how it's pronounced. 325 for South Sea. An excellent reference there that definitely ages me quite quickly. Lead for TRV. Spider Monkey sneaking down the inside lane. Him, on the other hand, almost making it through, but recycling. Better safe than sorry, that's for sure. Him finding a space down the inside line that I didn't even know was there. Excellent work. As Spider Monkey comes through with 4 points for TRV. Once again, excellent defense from both teams. Spider Monkey calling it off just as him comes around for their initial. We have an official review from Black Team, so I'm going to duck across and see what the goss is. but I'm sneaking over. Okay, for those playing along at home, it looks like they're looking for a cut track on the red jammer, arguing that they went more than 10 to 15 feet along the track before they ceased their immersion. Officials having a powwow now. It's always nice to have an official review this early in the morning. It is also the Breakfast of Champions alongside Sweat. We know it, we love it. Looks like there's a bit of a general consensus among the gang, which is always nice when all the officials get along. We know it, we love it. And that is a no. Official review not retained, unfortunately, for Team TRV. Always worth a try.
But it was literally because all the refs were standing in their way making that
Okay, official review all done, and now that Corey has explained the ins and outs of that one, TRV was looking for a cut track penalty on him, saying that they'd scooted off a little bit in front of the pack before trying to recycle. Refs saying they were just trying to stabilise and stay on their skates, which we do prefer you stay on your skates. No penalty awarded. Off we go again. That is jam start. We're up to jam 6 now. My goodness, wasting absolutely no time. South Sea straight through. I believe that's Bombshell. That is Bombshell. Straight through for lead as Honeybee pushing up against a very defence from South Sea. The pack stretching right out. Unfortunately, Scoob's copping a penalty out of that one. As soon as you hear that no pack, you've got to move. Honeybee almost good push through for their initial. As Bombshell makes their way out the front of the pack as well. Calling before TRV can snag any points. That is an 8-point jam. And the scores very, very close here. 11 points to 12. A low-scoring game and a very even game as well. No doubt that will shift and change over the course of the game. As everybody's caffeine starts to kick in. 444 Pins and Needles up against Fleabag 404. Both jammers sneaking through on the inside and outside, taking advantage of that blocker deficit. Fleabag sneaking through for a scoring pass. Pins and Needles not far behind though as the pack moves its way around to turn 3. Fleabag attempting for that outside line, getting recycled by 222 Starry Knight. That's Knight as in the one with armour on, I assume. As the packs stretch out across turn 2 and 3 and 4, I should say. Some great bridging happening from both teams. A little bit of attempted offense by 106 Mad Splatter. But the South Sea defense just doing a real amoeba fashion, reforming, as Fleabag pushes at the front of the pack, stretching things out. Once again, both jammers coming up against really determined defense from both teams. Excellent to see such great blocker play. It is heartbreaking to see jammers stuck though. They are delicate creatures and get tuckered out very quickly. TRV losing a blocker out the front to a penalty. As Fleabag re-engages for another scoring pass. Full time, there we go. South Sea taking full advantage of that lead. Status to snag themselves 16 points. Team Regional Victoria with 8 points all the same, so it's still 27-20. Could be anyone's game at this point. And we're off for jam 8. Spider Monkey up against M-Dog. M-Dog hitting the back of the pack and bounced out, recycled ably. Going for that inside line. Unfortunately, M-Dog copping a cut track penalty. That is now power jam status to Spider Monkey, still trying to fight their way through for their initial. And they're out lead jammer status with a power jam. Team TRV snagging a goat in the back there. A very angry goat by the looks of things. As M-Dog returns to the track, sneaking past (222) as Spider Monkey calls it before M-Dog can nab any points. That is an 8-point jam to Team Regional Victoria, excellently taking advantage of the power jam there. Always nice to have power jam and lead. That is the ultimate combo. Temper Tantrum, 333, coming up against 083 Vicious Citrus. As intimidating derby names go, Vicious Citrus is right up there. I think we've all had a little bit of lemon juice in our eye and have not forgotten the experience. Once again, both jammers stuck on a very determined defense and a squishy little pack. Everyone getting real friendly, but Citrus finding a little sneaky spot down the inside line for lead jammer status. Temper still working hard as South Sea goes all D. TRV with one blocker down, but that blocker is now returning. Honeybee back on the track as Temper makes it through for their initial. Vicious Citrus calling it with 4 points before Temper Tantrum can nab anything. Good defensive play. 4-point jam to South Sea. As we line up for jam 10 of period 1. 444, pins and needles, 325, him. I do love a good Powerpuff Girls reference. Him definitely awakened something in me. Anyway, that's enough about my childhood. As him squeezes through Managed to find gaps in that defence that I couldn't even see from here. Star pass from TRV, meaning that, whoa, watch out, that track is slippery. 2-2-2, Starry Night. Hitting the back of the pack with 0 points, but holding him to only 2 points for that jam. Excellent pressure put on by TRV with that star pass. And we are almost halfway through this first half. Just a lot of halves in general. 1-1-1 Spider Monkey up against 0-3-0 Bombshell. Bombshell straight to the front. Both jammers again stuck on, whoop, oh well, I spoke too soon. Spider Monkey looking for that outside line, but not quite enough room. Bombshell has made it through. Spider Monkey sneaking through an inside line there as well. Half a lap in it. And a nice, clear instruction from the bench. If you can't hear Harmon Miranda from where you are, then you're not listening hard enough. 4 points to South Sea, 0 points to TRV. That puts us at 37-28. And now it's Honeybee up against Fleabag. And we're off for Jam 12. Fleabag pushing hard, but running into raw power. Nevertheless, finding some way around the outside there as Team TRV goes into full offense mode, trying to help Honeybee through. Fleabag now finding some sort of gap around the outside there in the chaos of that very squishy pack. Pack has made it round to turn 1 now as Honeybee makes it through for their initial. Big grin on their face. Well earned. Fleabag has made it through for another scoring pass, now on 8 points as Honeybee approaches the back of the pack. Hits a wall. Unfortunately, Fleabag copping a penalty for a back block there into the back of Temper Tantrum, meaning Honeybee is through on a power jam. Not lead, but power jam. We'll take what we can get. TRV now a blocker down. Ooh, and Honeybee hitting a big wall there. 7-7 Calamity Payne, allowing no quarter there. You can run into me, they say, but I ain't moving. Excellent defense from South Sea there. And as Fleabag returns to the track after their little time in the box, that's what we say in roller derby. Do the sports crime, do the sports time. Fleabag pushing all the way out the front and squeezing through for an extra 4 points. And that is a 12-point jam apiece. TRV taking away an excellent little tied-up jam, given they did not get lead. Taking full advantage of that power jam. M-Dog, 999 for South Sea. Pins and Needles, 444 for TRV, as we've got a quick little official timeout. The quickest little timeout. Shout out to Toots. Toots ably jam timing this one in some very fashionable leg warmers. M-Dog straight through for lead. Pins and Needles still working their way through that defence, finding a space on the inside there, doing a little Fred Astaire dance on their toe stops. M-Dog now back around the back of the pack. calling it before pins and needles can snag any points. And that is 4 points to South Sea Roller Derby, pushing their lead out to 53 to 40. And it's a team timeout to black. Everybody gets to take a little breather and I get to read out some of the names. Before I do that, just a quick shout out to Hawkeye over there in the corner. You can see the little flash going off. Hawkeye is doing the Faces of Roller Derby project. If you haven't heard about it, you're probably living under a rock. And bring the rock with you. He will photograph. But today is the final day that he's doing this for Statewide Stampede. So if you want a headshot, get over there. You may end up in his book, the Faces of Roller Derby project. And even if you don't, he will give you for free, which is always our favourite price, a Facebook quality headshot of your choice out of the ones that he takes. I have done some headshots there and I can tell you that my Facebook profile now looks very intimidating, as it well should. End of team timeout. South Sea already ready to go. TRV lining up now. Looks like it's Spider Monkey, 111 up against him, 325. And we're off for Jam 14 now, still in period 1. Him squeezing out the front there, finding gaps around. Lots of defence there from TRV. Spider Monkey still working hard as TRV try to introduce a little bit of chaos. The pack's starting to stretch out a little bit now around turns 1 and 2. Spider Monkey getting through for their initial, but him taking no chances. Call it straight away. Tantrum 333 coming up against Bombshell 030 for South Sea as we move into Jam 15. And here we go. Both jammers stuck in a very squishy little pack there on the front straight, but Bombshell bouncing around like a pinball until they make room. If you won't make me room, I will make some. And unfortunately, a bit of a low blocked penalty to red 1-2, Freddie Mercury. Big chase out there from Kick. 118. Even if you don't actually chase the jammer down, it's good to intimidate them, just to remind them that, yeah, no, I can get you. All the way to the edge of the engagement zone. Pack on the move now, making those OPRs work. And that is called by South Sea. Pushing their lead out a little bit further now. That's a 25-point differential, 65 to 40. Pins and needles for TRV. Fleabag 404. Not found for South Sea. Crowd starting to get a little bit bigger over here. I can see they're all looking a little bit under-caffeinated still, but that's fine. Fleabag finding a spot down the inside there on the inside line. Not far behind them is Pins and Needles on their initial. Not even a quarter of a lap there. Pins and Needles finding a space around the inside there that I didn't even see, as Fleabag still working their way around a very determined defence from TRV. Some excellent offence there, quick offence from TRV. As Fleabag scooting backwards, finding a way around the outside there. Beautifully done. Calling it off with 4 points. That's 8 points apiece, leaving the points differential still at 25, but now we're 73 to 48. 999 M-Dog coming up against 111 Spider Monkey. 8-legged as discussed. As we move into Jam 17. And we're off again. Both jammers looking for gaps or trying to make gaps, whatever works. As M-Dogs managed to stretch the TRV pack out. TRV losing a blocker to a multiplayer penalty. That is Kick getting to sit in the box and think about their sports crimes. M-Dog taking full advantage of that blocker advantage. Sneaking around with some Fred Astaire action. Spider Monkey still up against a very determined South Sea defence. M-Dog coming around for another 4 points. Once again taking full advantage of lead jammer. And that is an initial for Spider Monkey. But M-Dog allowing no points to TRV. 12-point jam to M-Dog, pushing that lead right out to 37 points. Lining up now, we have 83 Vicious Citrus up against 333 Temper Tantrum. TRV still one blocker down. And now a jammer down, unfortunately, to a back block penalty. As Vicious Citrus makes their way around the outside. Power jam and a blocker down. Not where you want to be, but that's okay. TRV can make the best of this, I'm sure. The pack is moving now as TRV try to keep their points. Vicious Citrus trying to find their way around, but always finding that there's a blocker in front of them. Squeezing around that outside. As the pack stretching out a little too far for Corey's liking. Vicious Citrus trying for that outside line, not quite making it. As the pack squeeze into each other, Temper pushing hard. Temper Tantrum coming around for their initial. Oh, and a good tumble. I love a good fall and call. That is Jammer 101. An official review to red team. I'm going to do a little dash.
Maybe at like halftime, could you remind people to please check out or do Chichi's Memorial Book and the Pride Round like World Festivity? They're both over there.
I can do those. Thank you. Alrighty, I'm taking my little lapel mic. Sneak out here. I'm probably not going to catch what's going on, but that's fine. Another official review from red team this time. Okay, I didn't catch much of that one because I was too slow, but I believe there's something to do with the cut. And I'll have a little listen in.
Solid They need to learn.
So red team looking for a cut track penalty on black jammer, saying that they were hit out, didn't fully seed, as in they didn't fully come off the track. They straddled but did not fully come off the track and then back on again, which would be a cut track penalty. Refs having a good chat about this one, seeing what everyone saw. And that's the wonderful thing about roller derby, is that we have 7 referees and 8 more NSOs all around the track in various spots, with all their own sets of eyes and sets of brains sometimes, depending on the hour of the morning. And so everyone can see things from a slightly different angle if they were looking at the right spot at the right time. And it looks like the general consensus was that the no call stands. Red has lost their official review. Back from that official review. Unfortunately, red not retaining that official review. Looking for a cut track penalty on black jammer, saying that they had not seeded fully. The ref team disagreeing. And so no penalty awarded, and both teams now have used their official review for this period. You only get one chance to argue with the officials. You may as well make it good. 4-4-4, pins and needles, up against 0-3-0 Bombshell. Both of them hitting the back of the pack hard. Bombshell making a hole by pure force of will, sneaking through for lead, as pins and needles still working their way around as their own team creates a good amount of chaos. Bombshell hitting the back of the pack, but also running into 106, the Mad Splatter, who gives them a good hit straight to the ground. This is my pack partner. Bombshell squeezing and squeezing and pushing until that pack is stretched as far as it'll go. And a sneaky little star pass by Team TRV, forcing South Sea to call. Excellent play. Shout out to Ra, taking photos today on their tippy-tappy feets. 404 Fleabag coming up against 111 Spider Monkey. And South Sea have cracked the ton. That's 100 points to South Sea, 48 to TRV. Taking advantage of quite a lot of chaos there to sneak through for lead. From what I could see, it looked like 404 Fleabag was going to make it through, but a victim of that chaos. And a cut track penalty to 111. Power jam to Fleabag. Just what TRV do not want right now. And that also means it's now a full 2 minutes of derby. Spider Monkey have lost their lead. TRV now back to full blockers, I should say. Not being able to take advantage of it as have a goat. that then turns into offense for Spider Monkey to sneak through. Both jammers now looking to just score as many points as they can. No, except for Toots. Pushing things out until the pack became no pack. Unfortunately, TRV have now lost a blocker. Not that it seems to be slowing either jammer down very much. This very defensive game has suddenly turned into a very offensive game. And it looks like we've got 14 points to South Sea, 12 points to Team Regional Victoria. Now for folks at home on the live stream, I've got a lovely looking graph. I do love a good graph between friends, showing the cumulative score by jam. Unfortunately, TRV spending quite a bit of time in a scoreless position as South Sea just steadily kept pushing that lead out. But they're looking to turn that around now. Temper Tantrum sneaking around the outside for lead status. Not far behind them though is M-Dog, looking very intimidating. Forcing a very quick call off by both jammers. And both teams starting one blocker down. 0 points apiece. 118 to South Sea versus 60 to TRVs. TRV are going to have to really pull it out a little bit to claw this one back. And that, my friends, is full... No, it's half time. Let's not get too excited. Just before I hand the mic back to the desk, folks, don't forget that there is Cheeky's memorial book over there by the front door. If you knew Cheeky or her family, please do write something in there, a message to her or to her family at this really, really difficult time. And next to that, we do have the Pride Round Wall of Positivity. Write a post-it note up there. Let our queer folk, and let me tell you, if you haven't spotted that Derby is queer by now, you have not been watching, let our queer folk know how much they're loved. And I will see you for the second half.
Shining from the street lights. 혼자가 좋아 better on my own. It's ironic. What? That you love me now when I'm not around. Ain't it funny? Ha. Say you want me back, but I'm over that. If you wanna cry, you can cry. Say you're gonna change, but I know that's a lie. Don't make me laugh. Does he love me? Yes. Does he love me? Not. I don't give a damn. $20, $100 bills. I don't want your new love. 나는 wanna chill. That boy is a loser. He's so mad, but I still 녹아내려 mellow. 혼자 살래. I don't consent for none of that. Oh, I really like it. Oh, I'm better when you're not around. Even like a fire, it's time to burn it down. It's too late to take it back, 'cause I don't need you by my side. I'll be fine. 혼자가 좋아 better on my own. It's ironic. What? That you love me now when I'm not around. Ain't it funny? Ha. Say you want me back, but I'm over that. If you wanna cry, you can cry. Say you're gonna change, but I know that's a lie. Don't make me laugh. Does he love me? Yes. Does he love me? Not. I don't give a damn. It's ironic. What? It's ironic. What? Whispers in my head. What you gonna do? 선택의 기로에 난 지켜내려 해. 쉽지 않아도 진실한 나만의 beliefs. You know what they say, don't brag about what you have. Be careful and be humble, otherwise you should be ready to stumble. You know what they say, 자신감이 없니? 왜 당당하게 살지를 못해? Keep walking your way, don't look back. 너만의 길이야. Even when you fall, don't look back. 사실은 말이야. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. 'Cause it's only yours. Only yours. Yeah. 쏟아지는 말 이미 어지러운 이 세상 속에서 어둠 속의 light 붙잡아 진실한 나만의 beliefs. 차가운 바다 그득하니 앉아 내 마음속에 새겨둔 작은 위로를 더 꺼내야 하나. 우울함의 파도를 가라앉혀. But when you feel like giving up, remember, keep walking your way, don't look back. 나만의 길이야. Even when you fall,
Welcome back. There we go. No, I've got the right one. Once I work out which microphone I'm using, there we go. And we are back for period 2 of game 1 of round 5. It is South Sea versus Team Regional Victoria if you've just joined us. 118 to 60 in favour of South Sea at the moment. TRV to see if they can claw this back. And we're off for jam 1 of period 2. We've got Temper Tantrum squeezing out into the lead with Bombshell still squeezing through the back of the pack. Taking full advantage of that blocker advantage. Not Temper Tantrum, Pins and Needles, my goodness, I'm awake. Pins and Needles scoring 4 points and calling it. Denying South Sea any points, taking Team Regional Victoria to 64. The Spider Monkey 1-1-1 up against Fleabag 4-0-4 as both full defensive lineups form up. Off for jam 2. Both of these jammers pushy and bouncy, which are both skills you need. One of the things I love about roller derby is that it doesn't really matter what sort of body shape you have. You can still use it as an advantage. Fleabag making it out for lead, but unfortunately, very closely followed by Spider Monkey. So a quick defensive call off there. Sometimes it's better to deny the opposing team any points, even if it means you don't get any. A sort of no soup for anyone situation. 999 M-Dog up against 333 Temper Tantrum. And it is, unfortunately, a forearms penalty to 999. So TRV now with the wonderful position of being in a power jam and in the lead. And I'm sure they'll be hoping to take full advantage of that one to try and claw some of those points back. Strong defence from South Sea though, despite all of the chaos that TRV are trying to introduce to their defensive line. Losing a blocker in the process. Temper squeezing, getting into the triangle where the magic happens and sneaking through for points. M-Dog coming back around for their initial. All the way out the front there, slowed ably by Mayhem, 1-4-2. Excellent defence from TRV there. And the call off there. Leaving Team Regional Victoria with 8 and South Sea just sneaking in 3 points there. Cleverly done. Remembering that only your hips need to get past. So M-Dog going in butt first, making sure their hips are that's where the points are stored. 4-4-4, Pins and Needles up against 3-2-5, him. Unfortunately, another forearms penalty to the red jammer, him heading to the box as Pins and Needles has both power jam and lead jammer status. Once again, try and take full advantage of that one. Almost a sneak down the inside line there on turn 1, but not quite making it. As TRV tries to make some chaos. Lots of holes. South Sea trying a little chase down, 3-1-3 Princess, attempting just to give him a little nudge out, but not quite enough. as 325 Him returns to the track. Still going through for their initial. Once again, 142 Mayhem out the front, along with 888 Bunny, providing an excellent defence. Pins and Needles calling it before Him can score any points. That is an 11-point jam, taking good advantage of that power jam and lead jammer status. 111 Spider Monkey coming up against 030 Bombshell. I've been saying your name all game. Did I remember it right then? No. Complete brain fart. Can I say fart in the mic? Just did it again. We are off for Jam 5 of period 2. Bombshell wasting absolutely no time, squeezing straight through, making holes in the TRV defence. Spider Monkey still working their way through what appears to be an amoeba defence from South Sea. Excellent reforming as Bombshell once again squeezes their way through. Definitely taking the, if there isn't a hole here, I will just or make one approach. Spider Monkey coming through for their initial. As the pack has made its way around to the back straight. Bombshell doing the classic fall and call. We know it, we love it. Gaining all 4 points and denying TRV any points. No soup for you. Temper Tantrum lining up once again for TRV. Up against Fleabag, 404. Full defensive lineups for both teams. And as has been the case for most of this game, both teams with a very strong defence. Unfortunately, it is now South Sea's turn for a lead jammer and power jam situation. Fleabag will no doubt take full advantage of this one as they come around to turn 1 into turn 2. Fleabag choosing to do it just a little bit backwards. And a cut track penalty, unfortunately. It has been really tricky this weekend with no ropes down. You'd normally have a rope around the edge. But without that sort of reminder that you've hit the edge of the track, it can be really tricky to work out when you've cut the track. Temper Tantrum has returned. Going for their initial pass, I believe. Coming up against a very determined South Sea defence. South Sea losing one defender, though, to a forearms penalty. That's 1-2 Freddie Mercury. South Sea captain. Shout out to the captains today. And because both jammers have copped a penalty, doesn't matter who had lead. Now it is a full 2-minute jam. Everyone gets to sweat. But particularly the OPRs, as this pack moves around, really making them work on the outside. We have done a full lap now, back around to the full main straight. Fleabag. Alas, it looks like an excellent move down the front line, the inside line, but a cut track penalty once again to Fleabag, starting in the box. TRV now gets to start in power jam mode. It's always a lovely, lovely time. Pins and Needles aiming to take full advantage of that. Both teams having full defensive lineups. So it'll be a lot of offense from TRV, a lot of defense from South Sea. Let's see what Pins and Needles can do with this. As the pack moves forward around to turn 1. Pins and Needles taking full advantage of the chaos wrought. As TRV attempt to find a goat, but that goat is angry. No, says 252. Donut. I will not be your goat. Thanks, but no thanks. Great hit out by 0-1 Westy, but stopped by 222 Starry Night from doing a full recycle. Pins and needles pushing hard, stretching that pack out once again. And guessing by the amount of time that they've spent doing sports crime time, I'm assuming it was 2 penalties to the red jammer, which is always a bit of a rough time. Never mind though, because they are back and they are snarky about it. Getting real bouncy on the back of the TRV defence right in front of me. Pushing, pushing, pushing. Fleabag has obviously had a nice rest there and is using all that energy they've gained. Big chase down by Red, 7-3. Or 7-1. I'm 7-7. I'm awake. Calamity Payne going for a big chase down there. That is an 8-point jam to TRV. Still clawing that back. I think we've brought the points differential down a smidge, but it is hard work. South Sea are giving absolutely no quarter here. 111 versus 999. Spider Monkey up against M-Dog. Both of them very bouncy, very pushy jammers. And that is lead to M-Dog, sneaking out the front of the pack there. TRV trying to provide a little bit of offense, but South Sea just plugging every gap. As M-Dog comes through backwards, as you do. Once again, those points are in the hips. Big smiles for M-Dog. Spider Monkey now. Still pushing for that initial. South Sea denying. And there's the initial for Spider Monkey, popping that star back on their helmet. They didn't have to do a star pass. M-Dog calling it, having gotten all the points they can out of that particular pass. 2 points. So that's 6 points overall to South Sea, 145. 0 points this jam to TRV, 95.
You're saying the score at the exact same time as you're doing it.
I love it.
I was like 145 as you were saying 145.
Apparently I'm marvellously in sync with the scoreboard over here. There is something that happens when you're officiating where you manage to call the same penalty exactly the same time. It is glorious. If you can get 3 of you saying it all at the same time, that is a special unicorn moment. 83, Vicious Citrus coming through for lead, but not far behind is Temper Tantrum, 333. Vicious Citrus calling it before Temper Tantrum can snag. Oh, I tell a lie. That is 1 point. Once again, the hips are where the points are. So nice work to Temper. Pins and Needles, 444, coming up against 325. Him. I can't say that name any other way. And the jam is on. Quite the whistle blow from Toots there. I'll call that out. As we've got, once again, a very determined defence from both. Some hard walls. No gaps, no quarter. Him stretching out the front of the pack there. The TRD defence having to bridge until they can't stop them. That is how it is done. In the meantime, Pins and Needles being recycled, still trying to push their way through for their initial. And a squishy little pack there on turn 1. TRV still pushing hard. And a quick little star pass there. by TRV. Unfortunately, 2-2-2 Starry Night immediately being recycled. Always a bit heartbreaking. As once again, 3-2-5 him managed to stretch the TRV defence right out. Both teams have now down a blocker. South Sea now down 2 blockers. And I'm sure Starry Night, there we go, taking full advantage of that one. Finding that inside line. As him still pushing, trying to stretch that defence out. Starry Night finding a gap on the inside with a little Fred Astaire spin. Ooh, and a big hit from from pins and needles there. A little jammer on jammer action, even if they don't have the star on their helmet. Him doing the classic fall and call. We are now 157 to 100. Team Regional Victoria cracking the ton. Good to see. And honestly, this has been a wonderfully close game. The scoreboard is not reflective, alas. But on the plus side, it makes my math very easy. 57-point differential. As Bombshell creates chaos at the back. Great defence there from the Team Regional Victoria pivot. Spider Monkey coming around in the lead. Mad Splatter 106 with a big hit out and a recycle. Great work. Unfortunately, Bombshell still trying to make their way through for their initial. Team Regional Victoria not making it easy. And there it is, initial through as Spider Monkey does some spinny business at the back of the pack. Calling quickly with 2 points. 6 points overall, denying South Sea. $51 points now, the differential. With 13 minutes to go, 31 points is 2 major jams, to be honest. So this is still anyone's game. Could go any which way, but loose. 3-3-3 Temper Tantrum and 4-0-4 Fleabag. Lead to Fleabag as they've stretched the TRV defence out the front. Temper Tantrum still working hard at the end. Whoop. And some chaos there. Lots of penalties. Too many sports crimes. Stop it, you guys. As Temper Tantrum makes it through for their initial in the chaos. TRV back with a full defensive lineup. South Sea with only 2 blockers, making it much, much more difficult. Temper Tantrum taking full advantage. And another penalty. I am losing count at this point. And we actually had some queuing in the penalty box there for South Sea. That's when you get too many. Both jammers coming around to the back of the pack now. Big hit. Fleabag finding a gap though around the outside. Once again, another penalty. The refs are really finding all the sports crimes, keeping the penalty box nice and busy. And that is a 23-point jam. Excellent work from Southsea and Bombshell there, Fleabag, sorry, there. 11 points to TRV. Takes our scores out to 180-117. M-Dog 999 up against Pins and Needles 444. And we're off again. M-Dog with a sneaky little cha-cha slide on the inside. Wonderful to watch as Pins and Needles comes around for their initial. M-Dog calling it off with 0 points to Team Regional Victoria, 3 points to Southsea. Extending that lead a little further. I'm not even going to bother trying to do the math on that at this hour of the morning. There is a points differential. You work it out yourselves. Team timeout from Southsea. Harmer Miranda right in front of the jam timer, as we love. Well, now that we've finally got a team timeout that I can actually chat to, let's have a quick chat to oh, my brain, come on. The team lineups. So Southsea have 0-1 Westy, 0-3-0 Bombshell, 1-2 Fraddy Mercury, 1-3 Grim Reaper, 2-6-4 Scooby Doom, 3-1-3 Princess, 3-2-5 Him, 4-0-4 Fleabag, 7-7 Calamity Pain, 8-3 Vicious Citrus, 8-6 Bonnie, 8-8 Monk, 9-9-9 M-Dog, and 2-5-2 Donut. And for those playing along at home, you can see that there is that popping up on the screen. Shout out to the live stream. And a shout out to Sports Connections Australia, who are providing us with the live stream and equipment. Fantastic. It has been flawless all weekend, to the best of my knowledge. Getting some high quality roller derby out to the world. Spider Monkey up against Bombshell as we come into jam 14 of period 2. We're about halfway through this second period, 9 minutes to go. Team Regional Victoria with a big job ahead of them if they want to try and equalise this gap. And Southsea saying absolutely not to Spider Monkey. Every gap, no deal. But also Bombshell out the front with the same deal. Pack has been squeezed around to turn 1, but still no lead as Bombshell starts to push and stretch that defence out, getting just enough room to make a lead jammer status. A grin on their face, but also quite a lot of exhaustion at this point. We have been pushing hard. I know I've been sweating over here, working very hard. It's just, I'm assuming the skaters are also working, I guess. Bombshell once again pushing, trying to make that pack stretch. But in the back, Spider Monkey has come through for their initial, has obviously found some chaos. A little bit of offense provided by 555 Raw Power. And a defensive call-off by Bombshell. Snagging 3 points and 0 for TRV. Lining up for jam 15 now. We have Temper Tantrum coming up against Vicious Citrus. That name just has a nice mouthfeel. I'm a big fan. There's quite a few incredible derby names out there. And we are off for jam 15. Once again, very defensive play. Temper Tantrum managed to stretch that defensive line right out. Meanwhile, South Sea doing a quick, sneaky little star pass to 7-3, 1-3, sorry, Grim Reaper. And forcing that defensive call off from Temper Tantrum. Excellent use of the star pass mechanic. Four. Pins and needles. Up against 325, him. And one of the things I love about roller derby is that it's such a friendly game. Quick little high five between jammers there. Sure, we're on opposing teams, but... And now we've got a quick official timeout. Some scoreboard issues over here. While that's going on, I'm going to quickly call out Team Regional Victoria. We've got 106, the Mad Splatter. 111, the Spider Monkey. 118, Kick. Simple but effective. 142, Mama Mayhem. 171, Honeybee. 222, Starry Night. 333, Temper Tantrum. 444, Pins and Needles. 555, Raw Power. Now you'd think 666 would be next, but obviously they're not going for that kind of demonic influence. No, it is 777, Lady Killaton, and 888, Bunny. Team Regional Victoria is a bit of a pickup team, so they grab folks from all over the state, anyone who will guest, with some folks as regulars. So that's why you see quite a few of those 3 numbers in a row. You can grab those if you're guesting. And a shout out to the officials. This game would not be running without our skating and non-skating officials. Takes quite a few folks to see how the sausage is made. As you can see, there's quite a few folks out there making sure this all runs smoothly. I will call them out individually and embarrass them a little later. And we are off again, Jam 16. Him and Pins and Needles, both right next to each other. Missing the opportunity for some jammer on jammer action, always a little bit disappointing. Forcing the call off there, 0 points apiece. After all that time waiting, the quickest, tidiest little jam. 186 to 121 is the scoreline. I believe that puts us at a 65, if my math is correct. It's really testing out my high school skills here. And I've got to tell you, high school was a while ago. Fleabag 404, Pins and Needles 444. Pins and Needles obviously feeling that they didn't get enough work that last jam, coming out again. Oh, almost making it through. A bit of a tumble as the pack collapsed, literally and figuratively. Pins and Needles around the outside. KO on the bench celebrating. As Fleabag still trying to make their way through the pack. They're stretching it right out now. 1, 4, 3, 2, sorry. Mama Mayhem providing some excellent defense out the front. TRV calling it off. Not quite soon enough. And so South Sea sneaking 2 points. 4 points to 2 there for that jam. 125 for Team Regional Victoria, 188 for South Sea as M-Dog stretches up. 999 M-Dog up against Temper Tantrum 333. And we're off Jam 18 of period 2. We've got 4 minutes to go. And at this stage of things, we're going to see a little bit of exhaustion as Spider Monkey in the pivot position, finding the floor as M-Dog stretches that pack right out, bridging away. And that is lead for M-Dog. Well pushed. Quick little star pass there. Beautifully done. So Spider Monkey now is the jammer coming around for their initial, forcing M-Dog to call after their first scoring pass. Good defensive use of the star pass there. Lining up for Jam 19 now. Red 8-3, Citrus. Black 2-2-2, Starry Night. That's Night with a K. Citrus almost finding a way through, but the TRV defence reforming out the front of the pack. Cleverly done. Starry Night pushing hard at the back, bouncing around like a pinball as the pack stretches out from the front to the back straights. Mama Mayhem providing a lot of slow down defence out the front there. Excellent work. Unfortunately, Vicious Citrus finding a slippery spot on the track. This track does have a couple of little spots here and there, just to really keep you on your toes. Forcing the call off as the other jammer on their initial comes past. Him 3-2-5 up against Spider Monkey 1-1-1. 2 minutes to go, coming into Jam 20 of period 2. And we are off once again. Him wasting absolutely no time. Squeezing through. Unfortunately, TRV losing a blocker in that process of the stretch, and ooh, big hit there from Mad Splatter, making sure that Him loses all their momentum. And the call off from Him before TRV can score any points, despite Spider Monkey's best efforts. 196 to 125 as we line up for what could be the final jam. Let's see how long this stretches out. Temper Tantrum up against Bombshell, both hitting the back of the pack quite hard. Temper Tantrum finding a gap around the outside. Smooth as. I don't think they even touched anybody around that way. That was excellently done. Lead and through as half a track behind. Bombshell finding the same slippery spot that Vicious Citrus did, coming around on their initial. And a quick call off by Temper Tantrum. Defensively done. 2 points to 1. Lining up for what will pretty much have to be the final jam. Fleabag versus Starry Night. Fleabag straight to the front. Starry Night stuck at the back. The pack has actually moved backwards across the jammer line. South Sea losing a blocker, Freddie Mercury, to a cut track penalty. It's really tricky here when you can't feel where the rope is. Starry Night almost making it through and have done so. That is lead jammer status to TRV as Fleabag still trying hard against a very determined TRV defense, coming through for their initial. And that is called off. That is the final jam. 4 points to TRV, 0 points to South Sea. Unofficial scoreline at full time. We haven't heard the final whistle yet, but the scores are 197 to 131. A really good close game. South Sea just managing to inch out further and further, and TRV not able to claw that back. And there's the rolling whistle, full time. Excellent roller derby from everybody involved. Thanks again to our officials. Sorry I didn't get to call you out. We need more timeouts and official reviews, obviously. Thank you for braving the cold and the early morning to catch this first game of most excellent roller derby. I've been Hypodermic, and we'll see you for the next one.